Take it away, Tom.
Welcome once again. Let's get this show started. And today we are here once again with the Ask Joseph Land Insiders Club show. And we've got also some great people on here that are actively involved in the club itself, experiencing some amazing stuff in their lives. I mean, we're going to get into that a little bit here. So right now I'm here to introduce you to the game changer of all game changers, my friend, Joseph Land. Joseph, thank you so much. Looking forward to today's show.
Thank you, Tom. I'm looking forward to it too. And we have a lot of great content today and a lot of great things happening with all of our members. And it's just a blessing to be a part of this and to see people growing and changing and evolving into where they're supposed to be. And it's just really cool to see things today. We're going to talk about relationship equity. And those of you who know some of the things that I've done financially, I know all about equity and financial equity. But, you know, one of the most important things that you can do is have relationship equity. And more businesses and more people are starting to realize that that's really the true equity. And that's the most meaningful equity that you have. And, you know, Tom and I were discussing earlier today about, you know, creating equity in our families and those relationships, you know, relationships with our wives. There's all kind of equity. And what we've determined is that relationship equity trumps everything. So I want to start out the show today with that. And as we do these shows, I'm gonna have some of you come along and talk about what you do. I'm gonna have people that come on our program and talk about how I've mentored them and they've had great success and things have changed in their life and how they've gone from you know, a little bit to a lot and all the things that are happening because of what I think we're anointed to do. And so, you know, when we talk about relationship equity, one thing that I want you to realize is that it's a two-way street and what you put in is what you get out. And so I love to invest in people. You know, I would never do an investment in a business except investing in the person that was going to run that business. And so it's just so important to understand it that way. And the relationships that we're building equity with here in the Insiders Club are my most precious. I want to tell you that straight up. I want to say that again. The relationships that we're building, and I'm going to speak for Jennifer too, the relationships that we're building in the Insiders Club are the most precious. And they're our most precious equity. And then, you know, our children, I guess we would say would be the most precious. But other than that, this is what it's all about, guys. And so we want to be a blessing to you. And we want this show to be special today as every day. And so, Tom, I want to start out by bringing on Justin Abramovich from New Jersey. And Justin, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about what you do because I'm really fascinated by what you do. You know, a lot of times in business, a CEO, you know, has a skill set for running a business and numbers and all of that. But a lot of times behind that are a group of people who really make him look good. And Justin is one of those guys who makes a lot of people look good because of what he's capable of doing with search engine optimization and all those kind of things.
Oh, wow.
And it's just fascinating to me to listen to what he does. And I want you guys to meet Justin today. So Justin, take it away.
Thanks, Joseph. I really appreciate the intro. I actually work a lot behind the scenes. I guess you could say I'm a low-key person, a low-key guy, but I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of ambition, and I just want to be the best and work with the best that I can be. And I got to tell you, Joseph, you've been just such a huge inspiration for me. And I've learned so much. And I sit here every week and I listen. And I really try to absorb not just what you're saying, but everything, the emotions, you know, your intelligence, and really learning. Uh, it's it really is an education. Just to give you a little backstory, I don't know if I ever mentioned this. I went to Columbia University Graduate School for psychology. I was being groomed to be a psychologist. And I fell in love with business. I started taking a course in consulting, business consulting, mergers and acquisitions. And I just fell in love with business. And I said, wow, all these years I've been studying psychology, which obviously hasn't gone to waste. But I said, my real love is business. It's something you can do every day. You see results. You can change on you know, you can be flexible and see how things work. It's almost like a science project in a way. And that's what digital marketing, or SEO, search engine optimization, it's very similar. I really get a kick out of working with a lot of different types of businesses, and I've worked with everyone from Smithsonian Institute to Made in China to the corner grocery store to little restaurants and plumbers and landscapers and you name it. And I always take something from each business. I really am amazed. And I'm so blessed to live in America, because the American spirit, to be an entrepreneur, to have your own business, to have the ability to have your own business, to have the ability and the freedom to do what you want to do in life, it's such a blessing. It really is. And only in America, really. So that's really how I started off in digital marketing. I actually was working as business consultant and looking at, and this is the early 2000s, looking at ways to increase visibility, to increase buzz. And I really came across SEO at an early time when it was growing in leaps and bounds. And it really made sense to me when you look at it. I know a lot of people find it very confusing sometimes, mainly because you know, people talk very with these big technological terms, and they go in, you know, they can go down a rabbit hole that's very deep. But it really is just working on a business day in and day out, and just increasing visibility. You know, I call it grunt work, just working at it every day. And it really is, to me, how, in a way, life should be. You work on something every day, and you're committed to it.
Well, that's beautiful. You know, Justin, I'm so impressed not only with what you do, but who you are. And you're such a gentleman, and you're just such a man of high integrity. And I just love talking to you and listening to you talk. I learned so much from you. And, you know, you remember, I'm going to always say this on this call: when we continue to create what we're creating here, we will create our own economy. I want you to write that down. When we have thousands of people all over the world who are a part of what we're doing here, we will be creating our own economy. Now, when I found out about Justin, I wanted Justin to take a look at me and my businesses, and I wanted to ask him what he thought about my digital footprint and who I was and what he could do. Well, I'm going to be very humble. The man has taken me from total obscurity to being, when you Google Joseph Land, it comes up #1 on Google. And that's a powerhouse. When a man can do that for you, that's a powerhouse. And so as you grow your businesses, and those of you who are listening, and those of you who will come on and listen to this later, as you grow your businesses, as you grow who you are, as you grow your brand, you will have access to people like Justin, who will help you grow your business. You'll have access to people like Tom Chesser, who will help you analyze your business. Tom Chesser is the best quarterback I know in business. And for having him to be on my team and Jennifer's team is a very humbling thing when this man can take you and put you on the cover of Forbes magazine. You know, he's the real deal. And so I'm telling you, there are going to be so many things available to you. And Shane, you and I were having this discussion last week about the economy that we're creating here. And so I want you guys to listen to me very clearly. There will be many things available to you that would have never been available to you except for God putting us all together in this Insiders Club. That's where it's trending. That's where it's going to go. That's the vision I saw when we started this. And I tell you, my wife and I are so excited about this. And let me say one more thing also. We said for the first 20 people who paid $20 to sign up in our Insiders Club, we would send you a Starbucks card for $20. That's a pretty poor business in it. You get 20 and you give away 20. But anyway, we love this. And so I want to make sure all you guys who have signed up, if you're listening to this on recording or whatever, I want to make sure that you got your Starbucks card, your digital card, and you're getting a little Starbucks free from Jennifer and I. All right. Here's my Starbucks cup I'm holding. But anyway, Jennifer has hers. But anyway, not that we're a big proponent of Starbucks. It's just like, it's what we can give you. And it's the analogy of how inexpensive what I do for you is. That's the message. The message is, I'm going to give you millions of dollars worth of knowledge and advice for the price of a cup of Starbucks. So Tom, why don't you take this back a minute?
You know, it's all about relationship, and relationship equity is something you can deposit into, but you can always also withdraw from, so, you get what you put into things, right? Everybody agree to that? I agree to that. So we want to put more into each other, because each other is where you can make your biggest deposit. But I guarantee you in life, my connections and your connections are the most valuable asset that you own today. So I was excited when Joseph Land wanted to talk about this. I'm thinking, oh boy, isn't this going to be a fun ride today? Because on the screen is some relationships that he is building and has built. And some of these are long-lasting relationships. And we're excited to share them with you and to talk about what it really takes to invest into each other and what does it take to build those relationships that are long lasting. And I think today Joseph has a prime example of that in a weekend experience, right? Joseph, what can you talk to about relationship equity a little bit more?
Yes, and this is so cool. I mean, and not only are we going to be a part of this inner circle, we're going to develop some really close friendships and relationships, as Tom talked about. And I'm already feeling that. But Tom Henderson has been a friend of mine for 35 years. And I know I don't look like I'm 35 yet, but anyway, Tom has been a friend of mine. Tom has been a friend of mine for over 35 years. The man is just full of wisdom. And he and his wife, Lynn, came over Saturday and spent some time with us Saturday for dinner. And it was really prophetic what Tom spoke about, how he felt and what he was feeling from this whole Insiders Club. So Tom, I want you to take this and share with everyone what you shared with Lynn and Jennifer and me on Saturday.
You got 2 hours. Just so many things. I watched the replay of this from last week, and just listening to myself, what I was saying. It's one thing when you say something, but when you hear it repeated back, the emphasis multiplies, I guess you would say. We had 2.5 hours of lunch, which was fantastic meal. That burger, I still say it was real hamburger. I don't care what they say. But one of the things I picked up from our conversation and stuff this Saturday, I'm 78 and I've done a lot of things, but the last 3 years, I mean, I keep busy, but one of the things I took away from our luncheon, there's a difference between busy and productivity. And I keep busy all the time, but after dinner and talking and going back over everything, I haven't always been productivity with the busy that I've been doing. So just how realigning that into what I'm doing. I drive every place we go, but my wife drove back on the way back from your house. We had about 6 hour drive back to Florida, which it was just as cold here as it was there. But she drove most of the way, and I was on the phone reaching out to contacts and stuff that I had kind of put in the back burner for a while. The Sunday drive back was one of the most, I wasn't busy, I was being productive. And the big difference there, thanks to you for realigning my time scheduling. Instead of being busy, learning how to be productive instead. Sunday drive back for 6 hours was a very productive Sunday trip back. Realigning with different people that are reaching out to that I haven't. Probably conducted more business on the way back Sunday than I have in the last 30 days. I just can't say, it just fanning the flames and getting back up. Then kind of smoldering, you know, I keep busy, I do a lot of things. But I can't thank you enough for moving from busy to productivity. And Justin, with the psychology, psychology is in marketing, psychology is in people, psychology is in relationships. Everybody in business or thinking about being business or to study psychology, you know, how to win friends and influence people, why people act the way they do, why people do the things to do, improve yourself with your people skills. I don't care whether you're a dishwasher going into the restaurant, if you got good people skills, you're not going to be a dishwasher forever, you know. Just like with Dave, your consistency where you were at, where you were planted, the investment paid off. And sometimes you don't see it when you're doing it, but like last week, persistence, commitment, it just, that's what life is. And thank you again so much, Joe. I could talk for hours just on our conversation and what the last couple Zoom meetings, the change that it's made in me, which I thought I was doing okay, but I was comfortable and busy, but not really productive. And I thank you so much for that.
You bet. And what I've seen in just the short time with you is the anointing, the energy change shift in you.
Yes.
And it's amazing to watch. And I'm watching that in everyone. And I always like to remind you of that. I've talked to Emmy and just looking at people on the line, Lisa and Shane, and you know, there's a lot of different people I'm starting to talk to now, and I'm watching that in everybody. And so do I know that what we're doing is the right thing? You bet.
Yeah.
And so we're going to change lives, but what's going to happen is you guys are going to start doing that to other people, because you're going to pick up on how we're doing things, and you're going to bless people too. We're going to bless people all over the world. And I'm going to tell you, in today's world, people need a blessing. People need encouragement. People need to be told that they can, and all of that. And that's what we're about. So Tom, thank you for that. And that was a blessing, and it's good to see you. May I share something personal with you guys? I think this is so important. I want you to write this down. This is what I teach people that I work with. You know, everybody looks at stuff. Everybody looks at things, but most people don't see things. I want you to hear that. Everybody looks, but very few see. And I want to teach you to have eyes that see. And here's what I tell people that I start working with. Eyes that look are common, but eyes that see are rare. Now, let me give you an example. See, Sundays are so important to my wife and me because it's our family time. It's our time to recharge and get together. And so I'm going to share something personal with you. And so yesterday we took my daughter, our daughter and son-in-law and 3 little granddaughters to lunch. And after that, we walked around downtown and we came upon this elderly African-American woman who was homeless. And she said she didn't have food. And so I watched my son-in-law. He was so touched by this that he reached in his wallet to give her some money, right? Now, guess who he blessed doing that? Guess who was seeing what he was doing? I was seeing it and his children were seeing it, right? And so I allowed him to go first and do that. And then I reached in my wallet and gave her some money. And so we walked on and then we turned around and walked back up the street and we encountered her again because she was walking up the street and got ahead of us. And you know what my grandchildren told our daughter? That their father had helped this lady who needed help. And see, they saw it. And the kindness that you share with someone by just stopping and taking a deep breath and seeing instead of looking and going on is so powerful when you can see. And I had somebody tell me one time, well, you probably shouldn't give money to people who are homeless because they're going to use it for alcohol or drugs or something like that. And I said, no, that I don't receive that. When I am moved in my spirit to give someone $10, from that point on, it's between them and God. I have done what I have felt in my spirit I need to do. And from that point forward, it's between them and the Lord. If they buy food with it, then that's what I hope they would do. But I talked to some men here this morning and I said, it's cold in South Carolina. And so we're getting a group of us together to start buying blankets and coats and things for the homeless, because that touched me so much yesterday to see that my grandchildren saw with their eyes. They didn't look, they saw it. And it's so important for us to have eyes that see. And I want you to remember that. Everybody looks, but very few see. And so eyes that look are common, but eyes that see are rare. And I'm praying that God gives you eyes that see. And it will carry you anywhere you go in your business. You will see things in business that other people don't. And so it's so important for me to tell you that. And thank you for allowing me to share something personal with you. Shane, I've been working with Shane Forbes, and Shane is developing a really cool business that you're going to hear about at some time later. But I've been working with her, and I'm so proud of her. But I told her some things, and she experienced something after our conversation that I think is so powerful because when you set your intention to do something, I believe that the whole heavens are in motion on your behalf to help you do it. And so, Shane, I want you to share with everyone after our conversation that day, you went to get your hair done, and you take it from there.
Okay, thanks. I went to a place called the Beauty Bar, and it's where I go when I want to get a trim or something else. And I always work with this woman, Margie, who owns the business. And we always are talking back and forth because prior to this business, she was very involved in the health field. And so it's fun to just talk shop and see how she's doing. And so most of that time I was actually listening to her and what was going on in her life. And I had no thought going in that I would talk about my business at all, or, that this was I was trying to make business connections or whatever. I was there to get my hair cut. So towards the end, she said, so what are you doing lately? And I started to tell her about how I was reviving my quantum biofeedback business. And she said, oh, I have a lot of clients who, I think they've told me about this, tell me a little more. And so she said, yeah, that's exactly the same thing. She said, sign me up right now. I have to do this. And so we talked a little more, and then she said, I want my daughter to come see you too. And she pulled out a picture of her daughter, and just my heart went out to her. And I was so moved by it. And I said, okay, definitely, I'd love to work with your daughter. This would be great. And so then she said, and do you have business cards? I said, well, yeah. She said, well, give me some business cards. I'm gonna tell my clients, my customers about you. So that was totally unexpected. And it was just like Joseph, you said, that just the doors opened wide open. And here I was with my first client on Nantucket. And so suddenly I have to play catch up. I have to clear out a room, make a space, get my business cards updated. So that was great. And I also want to say, Tom, you said at the last meeting when I was talking about how I taught myself how to sing, and you said, yeah, it's so important when also that you overcome opposition, and you work really hard for something and you make it happen. And I really appreciated that word of encouragement. So thanks for that.
I don't know what Tom she's
Absolutely.
talking about, me or Tom Henderson, but there is two
Tom
Toms.
Henderson, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Tom gave some great advice at the last call that we were on, and
Yeah.
and I'm sure that will help you along the way. See, isn't it beautiful what people put into our lives that other people connect us to? You met Tom through Joseph met, so it's a chain reaction. And Shane, you have that effect on people as well. I mean, a very impactful position of impacting people. So thank you very much for your story.
Thank you.
I want to add something to that. Shane and I met, and I said, Shane, God is getting ready to take your business to a whole new level. I saw it on you the first time I ever met you, didn't I?
You did. You did.
And so we had and I didn't even know who she was. And so we had a call, and I told her what was in my spirit about how she would construct her business to go forward, and how it would be internet based, and how she would bless people. And that when she started walking in that calling and that anointing, that she would attract those people. And the very next day, she just gets 2 clients from getting her haircut. You see what I'm saying? You see how it works? Do y'all understand how this works? And I have that happen to me all the time. I have people call me all the time that are offering this and that and this and that, and Jennifer does too. And it's so fascinating when you give up yourself and allow yourself to walk in what you've been called to do, how successful you can be. When you can just relax and be a blessing and have eyes that see and speak the positive, it's amazing what comes back to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what Shane Forbes has done the last week, and is starting to pay dividends. And so I'm going to prophetically say over her business that she'll have people online from all over using her health services, and it'll be a very good business. And that's how it works. So Shane, I'm very proud of you. And not only, and I'm gonna speak to you just like I did Justin, because I see this on you. And sometimes we can't see things ourselves and other people. This is why you do these things. I mean, why would Joseph Land have a mentor? Because he can see things on me that I can't see in myself, right? And he encourages me in that way. And so
May I say
when-
something?
yes.
Okay, I just got to tell you, I am just so happy that I signed up for this. I see a bunch of really delightful people that, yeah, I mean, and to me, you know, you walk down the street and you meet one here and there. And right now I'm meeting a whole bunch of them. And it's also fascinating to me because two so far are providing services that I'm interested in. And I mean, I got chills. So I just had to say that.
And guys, this is Lisa Lawrence. Lisa is one of our, I want to call you guys our founding members. For the first 1,000 people, Jennifer and I are going to call you our founding members. And so Lisa lives in New Mexico. And Lisa is now you're going to love this, Shane, because you're a professional artist too. Lisa is a professional artist.
Oh.
And just a powerful woman and a go-getter, and you guys are going to really love getting to know her. So thank you for interjecting that, Lisa, and I look forward to speaking to you after this call.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Good. Anything else you have to say, Lisa?
Well, no, you had asked me if I wanted to say anything about what I do, but you just kind of covered that territory. So,
Okay,
yeah.
And there's another lady on this call named Emmy, and she can't talk right now because she's at work. So she's listening. But at some point, I'm going to have her on here telling you what her ideas are and how she wants to develop a business. And I've been talking to her about it, and it's just exciting. When I see someone who has a dream or an idea and they want to develop a business out of it, it really gets my creative juices flowing. And so I love that, and I love helping people. And so I appreciate you guys. Tom, I'm gonna throw it back to you for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you know, like I said, this is all about relationships, right? And forming these relationships is going to be something. I've known Justin, I don't know how many years we've known each other, for 15 years. So it's been a long time.
It's close. It's definitely 10 years for sure. It's amazing.
It is. And I've developed a relationship with Justin because of one of my other clients when I worked for Southwestern Bell Yellow Pages was using his services, and I couldn't compete. I tried so hard. This guy was spending $8,000 a month with me on Yellow Page advertising and internet advertising, but not on internet. Not on internet. I did spend 5 years trying to win this guy over. And I finally asked him, I said, well, who in the world is doing this for you that I can't get this? I have a relationship. You love what I do. You love what I'm doing with you. Now, why can't I? Then he says, well, let me give you this guy's phone number. And it was Justin. And Justin worked for an advertising agency in Houston, Texas at the time. And I picked at Justin. I said, Justin, tell me what the secret to your success is. What's the secret to your sauce, right? He wasn't going to tell me. You think he's going to tell my competition something like that? No. But after I left and retired from Southwestern Bell back in 2011, Justin called me and said, hey, Tom, I got this deal. You know what I mean? And relationships mean everything. You never know when that relationship is going to come back and serve you, and you don't know how you're going to be able to serve that relationship. So the Joseph Land Insiders Club, I honestly believe, is one of the best relationships you will ever have. You are going to learn more here than you will learn a lot of other places. And trust me, I've been other places. I have other clients that do similar mentoring, but nothing like what Joseph Land has offered has ever been put on the table. And that's why I am so glad to be a part of this. And I'm really, really excited because look what this is leading to today. Look what it will lead you to tomorrow. Look who it will put you in the lap of somebody else. And you never know what that relationship will develop. Now, that relationship at one time can turn bad. I've had people that I've done business with that didn't turn out good at all. But also that same person also led me to a $6 million deal.
Hmm.
Take that in your, so you never know. And Joseph taught me this. I mean, Joseph taught me this literally. So Joseph, you know about the $6 million deal, and I'm going to need your help on what to do with all that money here shortly. You know what I mean? You're a capital investor. You know how to deal money. You know how to take care of all this stuff for me. So, I'm going to need you. But it's based upon the relationships that you build that can lead to a relationship that can last forever. And that's what this show means to me. And that's what I'm so glad when he brought this up. I jumped on this in about 2.2 seconds, if you can understand that terminology. So thank you very much. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I'm meeting Shane. I'm meeting Lisa. I'm meeting Emmy. I'm Tom. I can't wait. Tom, let's get together sometime, buddy. Joseph should fly me in there and bring me into this deal, and I'll eat that hamburger with you any day, and you got Dave and you got Jennifer. Now, Jennifer in her own right, I'm not trying to steal the show, is one of the most powerful women I can tell you about right now, but she's one of those people that hide very, very easily under the arm of who she considers her love of her life, and that's Joseph Land. But let me tell you, women might follow behind you, but I love women that walk with you. And I like women that walk in front of me. I like women that are out there doing things to change life. And she is, and we're going to have her a host on the show here not too long. Anyway, great job on building this relationship and putting into it what you want into it, knowing that it's going to pay off. And what relationship have you built? What relation have you built that's paid off?
Amen. Relationships are key. I want to get back to that. I want to share with you why I am so good working with ladies and women. My wife and I have 8 children combined, 8. We're the Brady Bunch. We got a basketball team and a half. We got a baseball team and almost a football team if we both play. So we have 5 daughters, and I know all about getting your hair done and getting your nails done and all that. So I'm good with all that. Anyway, just want to let you guys know, but I want to share with you, and I'm going to have this person come on this show. And as we go, I'll have a lot of the people that I've mentored along the way come on the show, because I think it's so important for you to see that what I do, my system works, and it works every time. And so there was a young lady that Jennifer and I have mentored, and she had nothing 14 months ago. As of last Friday, January 28th, she had $116,000 cash in the bank.
Ooh.
Cash. She had no debt, 0 debt. And people owed her $23,000 in accounts receivable. So she really had about $135,000 cash that she could put her hands on. And so she took an idea and she came to me and said, I've been following you. Would you take me on as one of your clients? And I said, yes, I'll be glad to. And we talked a while, and I said, you pray about it and I'll pray about it. And then Jennifer and I decided to take her on, and we're just so proud of her. But we got story after story after story of people like that who had a dream in their heart. And that's why they call me the dream maker. I want to take that dream in your heart and turn it into reality. And so it's possible. Just start telling yourself it's possible. And I heard somebody tell me one time, impossible is not a word. It means it is possible, And so when somebody tells me that I can't do something, it just gets me excited about doing it, because all my life, that's what people told me. And so I'm the person who's going to stand with you no matter what and say, yes, you can do it, and I'm willing to help. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes.
And so Emmy, as I said, Emmy's also on the call today listening, and she's someone I've been working with. And you watch, she's going to develop a really nice business. and you'll hear more from her when she's able to talk in the future. Mark, it's good to see you on the call today. Do you have anything you want to add to the call today?
Well, I'm just being thankful to be part of this family. I'm hearing a lot of success stories. It's very, inspiring. And thank you, everyone, for sharing your own stories. That gives me a whole lot of perspective when it comes to making my own success story sometimes, sometime soon. And thank you, Joseph and Jennifer, for supporting, Doris and me, Doris and I, in what we do, for believing in us from day one. And, I'm just so glad, and I'm so blessed to have you guys around, in our lives. Thank you very much. We love you.
We love you too, and we're blessed to have you in our lives too. And Jennifer, why don't you say a few words to everyone?
Well, first of all, I think, relationships, your personal and your business relationship are totally two separate things. However, I mean, you've got to place value in them. And I think a lot of times it's, without being cocky and, kind of like, well, I've got this deal in the bag. I think sincerity, being sincere and genuine is the key to building any relationship. And especially if, in business, I think people can see through it and pick up on it. And Justin, as you've had experience with psychology, and it's kind of but, for me, I think it was easier for me to pick up in business than it was in a personal relationship sometimes with, my friends or even people I dated. It's, it takes a while to get through that smoke screen, but honestly, I think the goodness, if you want to do good and really help somebody, I think it comes out in your conversation with them. And people don't want to be around anybody that's not going to be a follow-through person and sincere, and your past too speaks for yourself. And don't be afraid to share your mistakes you've made. And I think people connect a lot with the mistakes and lessons you've learned. And I think that's, super important to share, and not always that, you've been the shining star that you are today.
That's exactly right. And next week, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how our shortcomings and how even our failures propel us to have success. They're our life's teachers. And, when you get your education and you get all this, what you really learn from are your life experiences. That's your teachers. And so, Jennifer, that was so well put. And I've learned some very hard lessons in my life, some very hard lessons personally and business-wise. And I've learned to steer myself in a different way and to know how to navigate those things now. And my greatest asset is being able to tell a story of what happened to me in my past, or what happened to me athletically, or what happened, because people, as Jennifer just said, people learn from the story you tell about what you experienced more than you do if you talked about the balance sheet as the numbers and all that. And so when I'm talking to someone about business, I'm talking to them about the numbers and the balance sheet, but I'm also relating a story to it, just like I did with the young girl a while ago. I'm relating a story to you about why she has $130,000 when she had nothing a year ago, because she had a dream and she was willing to fight for it. And she was willing to take good, solid counsel that had integrity. And so that's what people are looking for in their life. So I'm very, very, very excited about it. Dave, I want you to unmute yourself and tell us what's going on with you today.
Right. Well, we're in the process of doing that move I may have alluded to. And that's why I may look a little tired. trying to be a, you know, a young guy at 60, but nonetheless, it's a move that we've been wanting to make for years. We've carried the burden of a lease that was probably almost 3 times the amount of lease that we needed. And finally it cracked, and we're moving. So financially, that should help us out a little bit. And you know, so we're in the next 30 days in the process of making a move there.
That's wonderful. And I owe you a call. I've been looking to schedule a call with you. So send me an
And you-
email and let me know what's good for you.
And you've reached out, and that's why I've just been wrapped up in that. And I'm not ignoring you. I definitely want to talk offline, and very much look forward to that.
Me too. So you just take your time. I'm going to be here. God willing, I'll still be here. If I'm not, Jennifer will talk to you.
Sounds great.
But anyway, okay, Tom, I'm gonna throw it back to you, and just for a few insights, and we'll close up today's show.
You know, once again, appreciate everybody being on the show. You are going to find this to be an amazing journey if you haven't already. Some of you have had a long time standing relationship with Joseph and Jennifer, and you know, and I think that's going to last. I would encourage you, each and every one of you, to invite people to come on the show. If they're not a part of the Insider Show, we'd still like to have them come on the show. We'd like them to meet you. We would like them to greet you. We'd like them to get to know you, each and everybody here, because as this grows greater and bigger, it's going to be something that everybody's going to be enjoying and getting the benefit out of. And thank you for being here today once again. And I look forward to meeting each and every one of you one of these days in person. But Joseph is connecting us in such a great way. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And I just got to say that I was so looking forward to this. And I'd seen Joseph on other webinars, and he happened to mention to me that he signed up for my newsletter, and I went, oh my goodness, I better get that out. And so I've been wanting to launch that for forever, and it went out this morning. So I'm already feeling the heat, and I'm loving it. So thank you.
And also, if you'd like to share what you do, or you want us to support what you do in business or in life or anything like that, feel free to put that in the chat box. There's nothing
okay.
wrong,
Absolutely.
absolutely nothing wrong. Send us your email, send us your website, send us something that we can make you a part of, or we can be a part of that with you. Okay, because we're all working together to make a difference.
Well, this is a fabulous team. Who would anybody be crazy not to want to be a part of this family?
Definitely.
Invite your
Well,
friends.
let me give you a little secret. Let me give you a little secret. I'm gonna give all y'all mine and Jennifer's secret. When you sign up as a member of the Insiders Club, we're gonna check you out. We're gonna join what you are involved in. We're gonna join your newsletter. We're gonna join everything, because we want to be a part of what you're doing, and we want to be a blessing to you. And so, Lisa, we're glad to get your newsletter whenever it comes. And Shane, we're so excited about you, and Dave and Tom and Emmy and everybody on the call, Mark, Justin. What a great group today. Gosh, it's amazing. And so what I want to encourage you guys to do is, as Tom was just saying, just invite somebody to the call. Just invite somebody that, you know what people really need? They need encouragement, and they need the blessing of being around other positive people. And so for next Monday, I want everybody to invite 2 or 3 people, and I want you to watch. I want you to write down where we are today and watch where we're going to be a year from now. It's going to be phenomenal. And then 5 years from now, we'll have 1 million people all over the globe. We have people joining us next week from Uganda. See, there are no boundaries with what we're doing. In the transportation business, these trucks could only run North America because they couldn't float on the ocean, right? But in this business, this new business, we are global because we have the internet and we have words of encouragement and we have the right team that we're developing, and we're creating a community of people, and we're going to create our own economy because of the people. So I'm just so excited about this. I think you're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but I want to tell you, after building a $200 million company and a $140 million company, and Jennifer and I building JL Capital Group to a very sizable number right now, this Insiders Club is the most exciting thing I've ever done in business. That's a bold statement. Tom, back to you. Tom, why don't you close us out?
Hey, can I say one thing, Joe, before we go? Two things that just popped into my mind just with this group here and listening to everybody else. And knowing you and business, the two things I get out of it is giving back hope and having an accountability group to hold you accountable. I think those two things are different, but hope and accountability, I think this group is going to be really good for everybody. You know, you speak it into existence. You got accountability people here, and giving you hope and sharing. So that's it for me.
Well said. Well said, Tom. And I don't put anybody on the spot, but I just feel really led that we ought to end this session today in a little prayer. And Tom Henderson, my friend of 35 years, you're such a man of high integrity. Would you just bless our people on the call right now? And would you, and those who would be listening later on a recording, would you just say a little prayer and end our session?
Dear Lord, just be with us as we journey through this and as we move forward, sharing our hearts and our beliefs and our feelings. Just let us be a daily witness in our lives and our actions. Just like Joe with his grandkids and them seeing faith and work in actions with the homeless lady, hungry. Let people see us and see you through us, dear Lord. Just, we don't have to say anything, just let them see our actions and see our lives and let that be a model to lead us into everything else, dear Lord. And just thank you so much for all the blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, you guys have a great rest of your week. What a blessing it is to be with everybody today. I got a huge blessing out of this. And remember that relationship equity is the most important equity we can develop. And that's coming from a guy who's built a couple of nice businesses. The relationship equity I'm building with each one of you is my most important equity. So I want you to know that. God bless you today. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
God bless.
Thank you. Yes.